Hey, what's up? Okay, so what I actually want to do originally was kind of show some of the mock-up designs, like the wireframes for the WTM app. Where what's the move? Uh, how am I gonna do that? Because then I had to set up OBS Studio, and sometimes the recording stuff is way too weird to figure out, and the export and all that takes way too long for the amount of time I have allocated for this video. What I will do is talk about it. So I think it's in a good place in terms of wireframe. It's just like having like the general layout of the app before I even start coding, which I think is new to me because usually I think I do like a quick mock-up that is like I jump into code. I remember I started like getting into coding and web dev and all that. Um I didn't really like doing the whole website design thing. I just like coding the website first because it felt way too vague in my mind. But now as I'm getting older and getting more experience, I do think it's beneficial to have like some design on hand of where to how you wanted it to look like. And it's fun. I think it's a new thing to do. I remember I started using Figma this year because of an SB project. And I remember my mentor said there's something actually we're gonna need in life. And I was like, oh, and I actually doing it. So it's cool to see that come full circle. But that's besides the point. What I think is also kind of interesting is that I think as I'm designing more, this more pages are coming about. So originally it was just on like you had an account page, you had the discover page, and then you had like the home page, right? And then I was like, why do we need what would the home page really be for? Because the idea of the app WTM is to figure out what people are doing, like what's going on in the area really quick. So then I was like, okay, let me get rid of the homepage because I don't think it makes any sense to have a homepage. So what I just decided to do is change the homepage to the discover page because that's like the immediate function of the app. What's the move? And then from there, I also want to see like, okay, maybe you want to see um what people like what the events actually look like. So the idea to kind of build like the feeling of missing out FOMO and all that was to have a reels page. And it's kind of like similar to SnapMap, Be Real, and all those stuff, where it's like you can see what's going on at those events. Like, but it's not like you just like you scroll on reels and see what's happening around you. So let's say I see a really cool video, a short video, like less than 30 seconds of a cool event. I'm like, oh, where's that at? I click the map button and it shows me where the event is. Like, okay, let me pull up there. Um, you could also do, and you have an account page, which still is there. Then the two other pages are like that is added because okay, I already have like 3 pages now, and it's kind of weird for formatting. I start to think a bit more. And the two other pages I thought okay I needed to add was one I needed to create event page, right? Because how do you actually upload an event onto the app? And then I needed a following page, like maybe I didn't need it, but I think it's really cool to have just to see what people you think are cool or people you're friends with or people blah 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 that you're interested in somehow, like where what events they're going to. Maybe that could give like some way to see like what type of like where you want to go. So still very much in the early stages, but I do think it's looking pretty good. I still have to do some layout designs for the create event page and for the following page. But it's going well. It's going well. I really like it. I think it's coming off to something really good. I think what I do like is that it feels like a lot of experiences coming together for this project. Just even be able to take inspiration from other stuff. I know what inspiration to take. So like this is kind of a lot of this is original. I'm gonna be very honest. All of it's taking a amalgamation of a bunch of different apps. So I know I've been looking at different apps in the market of this event discovery platform market. I've also been looking at other social apps like Instagram, Be Real, Snapchat, and seeing what works there and seeing what I can take from there and build it into my product. I think that's really, really interesting. Just how that works. I was watching a video today about or yesterday about how don't be so focused on being original. Just try and build it first and see what works. And I think that's the idea. Instead of having like an like, oh, I really want my thing to be completely new in every sense of the word. I think we just work on building the idea first, and when eventually it will become original if you keep that spirit. I think that's the idea. But yeah, this isn't something I'm really worried about now. But I also think another thing is that if this was to like stay like work properly, I was wondering if like if it does become a startup or whatever, how would it become profitable? Because like how would you actually get money for this? And then I don't know, like some ideas was like ads or maybe like people pay to promote the events or subscription services. But I don't want to focus on that now. I think that's way too far ahead in my plan. I'm obviously going to think about it for, like in the back burner of my head, but I don't know. I think that's like the debate. Like, do I want this to be? I don't think it can work as just an app I upload on like the app store because there needs to be money going into it to actually work, to like keep a host and all of that. But also, wonder what type of thing I want it to be in the end. And maybe I'm becoming too focused on the end goal, and I should become more invested in the process itself, which I do think I am at right now. Whew. But yeah, it does look really cool. I can show like a sneak peek of it. Let me see if I can show another one. Dang, my beard looks a bit messy. I think I'm gonna keep the beard for the internship, which will be really cool. But yeah, so for example, this is what the discover page looks like. So stuff like that is really nice to just know. So when I go into like coding, like using Next.js and all that, I can have an idea of what I'm doing, so I don't waste too much time. What's interesting though is that I haven't really coded an app before, so this is gonna be like my first project. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it overcome that hurdle. But I do suspect a lot of it's gonna be a lot of working with AI both to learn some vibe coding and mix of all of it. The reason I don't like saying vibe coding too much because vibe coding from like what I see just implies like, oh, you put the prompts in and you do nothing else. I think what I do is more a mix of it, and it doesn't make it necessarily make it better or worse. But I think I don't know. I feel like it's important for my growth, essentially, to at least be doing some work when it comes to coding stuff. Because if I just vibe code all the day, I accumulate some technical depth, and like once I run into an issue, I don't understand what's going on, and it all falls apart. Um, but yeah, so that's where I'm at. So besides that, I have nothing else to say. So have a great day.